Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Energy News Beat podcast. My name's Stuart Turley, President and CEO of the Standup Group. Today is December 23rd, and I hope you got all your Christmas shopping done, because I'm tired of Christmas already. But hey, let's get ready for the stories today. Azerbaijan brokered a gas deal to keep gas flowing to the EU via Ukraine. Fails. Oops, I had that one that it was going to pass, but my bad. Qatar threatens to not export LNG to Europe. Could be starting to get a little cold around the world right now. EU is now ready to discuss closer energy ties under U.S. with President Trump. Imagine that. Here's one for you. Iran plagued by energy crisis partially caused by strikes attributed to Israel. They're having to shut down their business and decide whether or not to heat people's homes with natural gas or run power. So it's going to get really dicey there in Iran. One last story here. This one actually was on art, and it's very sad. Biden's officials trying to destroy Trump's push for peace from Moscow. President Biden is not in the office. He is not working, but his behavior is horrible. I'll go into that here in a little bit. But let's start with Azerbaijan brokered deal to keep gas flowing to EU via Ukraine fails. I really thought this would actually be further along than we are right now. I sure hope so. But Moscow and Kiev have failed to agree on a brokered deal by Azerbaijan to continue Russian exports to Europe via Ukraine, at the Azeri energy company Sokar told Reuters on Friday, 20th December. This development puts the end of hopes that gas transmitting via Ukraine could continue to flow after 31 December when long-term gas contract ends. I really thought this war would be over by now, but I believe that it is 100% because the Biden administration is torpedoing everything again, and it is absolutely criminal. Zelensky did say on Thursday that Kiev would consider a continued transit of Russian gas, but only in condition that Moscow did not receive payment until after the war, a condition was unlikely to accept. And I find it very disgusting that the Biden administration is not trying to end this war when we all know on record that the Biden administration could have ended this war 2 months into this war, and hundreds of thousands of people would not have died. I like going on record on saying that the Biden administration is at fault. Let's go to Qatar. Qatar threatens not to export LNG to Europe. This is kind of an interesting story. I got to give a hat tip to Anais. I really enjoy following him on X. He is in the show notes, and you'll see today's news in Western press has been published 2 weeks ago in Arabic. Qatar threatens to halt LNG shipments to the EU. I have talked about this for a while, but this is very important when you take a look at the other natural gas crises going on in Europe. And that is Qatar has threatened not to export the LNG to Europe in response to strict environmental and social governance reporting standards for large companies operating in the EU. This is critical. We will not supply the European Union with Qatari liquefied natural gas to support energy requirements and then be subject to a penalty of 5% of our global revenues. This is due to the Scope 1, Scope 2, and Scope 3, and I applaud the ministers in Qatar to stand up to the EU. The EU needs to grow up and throw away their depends and grow up, man up, and start behaving like normal people. You're going to have regime change when your people cannot afford to heat their homes, and that's what's happening here. Let's go to the EU ready to discuss closer energy ties with U.S. under President Trump. Here's where it really gets a really cool thing. I told the European Union, this is quote from President Trump posted on Truth Social. I told the European Union that they must make up their tremendous deficit with the United States by large scale purchases of our oil and gas, Trump posted on a social media. Otherwise, it's tariffs all the way. Oh, I added that. That was not in there. Shortly after Trump was elected president, European Commission Ursula von der Leyen said early November they would replace what left of Russian natural gas imports with Russian LNG. I think this is wonderful. But here's where Secretary or Chancellor Scholz has been begging for Russian natural gas. They're wanting the Ukraine pipeline to continue because you still take a look at LNG. It is incredibly a lot more expensive than cheap Russian natural gas piping it in. I'm all for it. Let's just let everybody have all the pipe and then transition around, and then everybody help everybody get lower prices. There is a way around this utopia, and it can be done. Next story here, Iran plagued by energy crisis partially caused by the strikes attributed to Israel. This is really sad. According to the Times of Israel, the Iranian government attempted to minimize the impact of the damage caused to the gas pipelines by dipping into emergency gas reserves. That will only last for so long. While the strategy worked in the short term, preventing disruptions of millions of people has left the government with a depleted energy supply that, despite Iran's vast natural gas and oil reserve, it's struggling to replenish. This is turning out to be a pretty big deal. The stores are having to cut down their hours, and Iranian power plant companies are having to determine whether or not to use natural gas for electricity or even shut it off from allowing people from heating their homes. So again, I am not a fan of anyone not having natural gas to heat their home, and it's just sad. But leaders need to understand when people don't get their energy, regime changes happen from within. So let's go to the last story here. Biden's officials trying to destroy Trump's push for peace out of Moscow. You can see the thread around this discussion, this energy thread that I'm using today. The outgoing U.S. administration demonstrates a unique capability for doubling down and destroying the chances of its successor, Trump, fulfilling its campaign promise of swiftly ending a diplomatic solution to the conflict between Moscow and Kyiv. This is absolutely despicable. This came in from RT off of their site, and I saw a poll on X the other day, and it is really sad that more Americans trust Putin than they do our own government at this point. I never thought I'd have that on my bingo card, and I think that the behavior of this Biden administration is despicable in how they're handling this. We all know it's not Biden. It's the administration that is running it, and it is despicable. So with that, we only have a few more days left in the year, and if you've got your taxes all in line, that's fantastic. If you don't, go to energynewsbeat.co, go to the top menu bar and take a look. Is your portfolio okay? Let us know what you think about where the oil markets are. I am bearish on oil. I think that it is a good investment right now, even with the lower oil prices in the last few months. I'm still making 32% this year on my investment with who we're dealing with. So I want to share that with you. Have a great day and get ready for Christmas. Hug your family. Be prepared as always. Keep your head on a swivel and be there for your neighbors. Be there for your family and be prepared. Have an absolutely fantastic day. Look forward to speaking to you soon.